My name is Freddie Hamilton, and I am the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Consultant for the Mohawk Valley Continuum of Care in Utica, New York. We service Oneida County and Madison County in upstate New York. And I do workshops for organizations that are interested in uh, bringing diversity into their workforce and help them to make those organizational changes. So, over the last few years, after the country was traumatized by the murder of George Floyd uh, being televised, and we had, we really had this, what do I want to call it? We actually had social unrest. We had people demonstrating to bring about more diversity and to bring equity and inclusion into uh, for Black people and for marginalized groups and police reform and all of the things that we were demanding. Um, I became involved with the Mohawk Valley Continuum of Care as the diversity consultant, and I've been with them now for about 3 or 4 years. And what I find is that at this point, at this point in time in history, uh, some of that commitment for diversity and inclusion is sort of waning, and we're stuck. Right now, we're stuck trying to figure out how to bring it about. It's harder than we thought. So, diversity and inclusion and equity has to be very, very intentional. And many organizations are really not committed to uh, bringing it about at the organizational level. So, I always say to organizations that I won't get involved in helping them do this work unless it's coming from the top. It has to be intentional. Um, the decision makers in any organization determine what that culture is. And if the board and the executive staff are not willing to make that commitment and put together a plan to bring about that diversity and equity and inclusion, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen by sending your workforce off to various trainings if the commitment is not internal to the organization and there's a plan for making it happen. The other thing that I tell organizations is that there was a point at which we started in organizations eliminating HR departments, and now a lot of the human resources uh, work and responsibilities are outsourced. They come into, they're very limited, and organizations basically use them for payroll and time and leave. But to really have an organization where you're going to have that diversity and inclusion and recruitment and of diverse populations, you must have a human resource team or a human resource department that's going to negotiate those kinds of activities. They need to be there needs to be some kind of third party apparatus that will help people of diverse backgrounds and diverse cultures fit into that organization. And that's the role of the HR department or an HR team. Even if you can only afford one or two people to create a team, it's important that you create that structure so that people coming into, because a lot of times people of color are recruited, but they can't be retained because the organization doesn't have an apparatus in place that can make those people feel comfortable, that can address their concerns and needs, that can provide the kinds of resources that can give them a sense of uh, fairness, to let them know that they have recourse if there are issues that can't be resolved. That's the role of the human resource team or department. So I encourage organizations that decide that they are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion to think about one, why they think they are is necessary for their organization, put together all of the reasons and think seriously about making that commitment, and make sure that you're putting the structures in place that will make it work.